What's the most terrifying thing you could meet in a swamp? A creature with jaws that can crush bone, a body built like a tank, and a lineage older than the dinosaurs? Meet the American alligator, nature's ultimate survivor. But here's the kicker. This ancient predator which has outlasted T-Rex and dodged extinction for millions of years, is now facing threats it might not survive. And guess who's to blame? Us. Imagine this. 200 million years ago, the Earth was a wild place. Dinosaurs ruled the land, pterosaurs soared the skies, and in the water, the ancestors of the American alligator were already perfecting their craft as apex predators. The American alligator, or Alligator mississippiensis, is part of the crocodilian family, a group so tough they've survived mass extinctions that wiped out 75% of life on Earth, including the dinosaurs. How's that for staying power? Let's rewind. Alligators belong to the order Crocodilia, which traces back to the Mesozoic era. Their distant cousins, the archosaurs, were kicking around 250 million years ago. Fossils found in places like Wyoming and Texas show early crocodilians were smaller, more agile, and sometimes even ran on land. Over millions of years they evolved into the tank-like creatures we know today. The American alligator's lineage split from its closest relative, the Chinese alligator, about 40 million years ago. Fun fact, the Chinese alligator is like the American alligator's shy, smaller cousin, only about 6 feet long compared to our star's potential 15 feet. So, what makes the American alligator so special? Let's talk strengths and abilities. First, those jaws. An adult alligator's bite force clocks in at around 2,980 pounds, enough to crush turtle shells like they're potato chips. Compare that to a lion's 1,000 pounds or a human's measly 150 pounds. Ouch! But it's not just brute strength. Alligators have 74 to 80 razor-sharp teeth. And here's the cool part. They regrow them like a shark, replacing teeth up to 50 times in their life. Lose a tooth? No biggie, a new one's already growing in. Then there's their armor. Alligators are covered in bony plates called osteoderms, embedded in their thick, leathery skin. These act like natural chainmail, protecting them from attacks and even helping regulate body temperature. Ever seen an alligator shrug off a rival's bite like it's nothing? That's the osteoderm advantage. But wait, there's more. Alligators are masters of stealth. Their eyes and nostrils sit high on their heads, letting them float almost invisibly, with just a sliver of their face above water. They can hold their breath for up to 2 hours, lying in wait for prey like a submarine with teeth. And don't let their size fool you. They can sprint up to 11 miles per hour on land in short bursts. Imagine a 1,000-pound gator charging at you faster than you can run to your car. Yeah, good luck. Ecologically, alligators are superstars. In wetlands like the Everglades, they're keystone species. Their thrashing creates gator holes, deep pools that hold water during dry seasons, providing oases for fish, birds, and other critters. Without alligators, entire ecosystems could collapse. They're also top predators, keeping populations of fish, turtles, and even small mammals in check. Nature's perfect balance, right? But here's where it gets wild. Alligators have a secret superpower: temperature-dependent sex determination. The temperature of their nest decides whether hatchlings are male or female. Warmer nests, above 91 degrees Fahrenheit, produce males. Cooler ones, below 86 degrees, produce females. It's like nature's thermostat playing genetic roulette. This trait has helped them adapt to changing climates for millions of years, but as we'll see later, it's also a vulnerability in today's world. Alligators once roamed across much of the southeastern United States, from Texas to North Carolina. Their range shrank as humans moved in, but they've hung on in swamps, rivers, and marshes. Today they're most famous in places like Florida's Everglades and Louisiana's bayous. But how did these prehistoric powerhouses go from ruling the swamps to tangling with humans? That's where things get messy. So here I am in the heart of alligator country. These waters have been home to alligators for millions of years, but when humans showed up, everything changed. Let's talk about how we've shaped the alligator's story, for better and worse. Humans and alligators have a long, complicated relationship. Native American tribes like the Seminole revered alligators, weaving them into stories as symbols of strength and survival. But when European settlers arrived in the 1700s, they saw alligators differently, as threats or resources. By the 1800s, alligator hunting was big business. Their hides were turned into boots, bags, and belts, and their teeth became souvenirs. Fun fact, in the 19th century, alligator leather was so trendy that a single hide could fetch what's equivalent to $500 today. This wasn't just a side hustle, it was a slaughter. By the early 1900s, millions of alligators were killed. In Louisiana alone, hunters took out an estimated 300,000 alligators between 1880 and 1930. Populations plummeted, and by the 1960s, the American alligator was staring down extinction. Enter the Endangered Species Act of 1973. Listing the alligator as endangered gave it legal protection, and conservation efforts kicked into high gear. Wetland preservation, hunting bans, and captive breeding programs worked wonders. By 1987, the alligator was delisted, proof that humans can undo some of their damage when they try. But here's the twist. Not all human interactions were about destruction. Alligator farming became a thing in the 20th century, especially in Florida and Louisiana. Farmers raised alligators for their hides and meat, which took pressure off wild populations. Today, the United States produces about 150,000 alligator hides annually, mostly from farms. It's a weird mix of conservation and commerce, saving the species while still profiting from it. But farming isn't all sunshine and swamp lilies. Selective breeding for bigger hides or faster growth has tweaked the alligator's natural traits. Farmed alligators are often larger and less aggressive than their wild cousins, but they can struggle if released into the wild. It's like raising a pet T-Rex and expecting it to fend for itself. Plus, farming has a dark side. Some operations have been caught illegally harvesting wild alligators to boost profits. Suspenseful, right? Then there's the urban alligator problem. As cities like Miami and Houston sprawl into wetlands, alligators are popping up in backyards, golf courses, and even swimming pools. In Florida, the Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission handles over 15,000 alligator-related calls annually. Most are relocated, but some are killed if deemed nuisance gators. Imagine chilling by your pool and seeing a 10-foot gator doing the backstroke. Not exactly a relaxing Sunday. Humans have also messed with alligator diets. People feeding alligators, think tossing hot dogs to a gator like it's a stray dog, makes them lose their fear of humans. This leads to dangerous encounters and often ends badly for the alligator. It's a stark reminder. Our actions ripple through their world. The American alligator is a survivor, but even survivors have their limits. Today, these ancient creatures face challenges their ancestors never dreamed of. Challenges caused by us. Let's dive into the murky waters of their modern struggles. First up, habitat loss. Wetlands are the alligator's home, but they're disappearing fast. In the United States, over half of wetlands have been drained or developed since the 1700s. In Florida, the Everglades have shrunk by half due to agriculture and urban sprawl. Less habitat means fewer places for alligators to hunt, breed, and raise their young. In 2023, the United States Geological Survey estimated that Florida's alligator population, while stable at about 1.3 million, is increasingly squeezed into smaller areas, leading to more competition and stress. Then there's pollution. Runoff from farms and cities dumps pesticides, fertilizers, and heavy metals into swamps. These toxins mess with alligator health, causing reproductive issues and weakened immune systems. A 2019 study in Lake Apopka, Florida, found that alligators exposed to pesticides had lower egg hatching rates, down to 60% compared to 90% in cleaner waters. It's like poisoning their nursery. Climate change is another beast. Remember that temperature-dependent sex determination? Rising temperatures could skew alligator populations toward more males, threatening their long-term survival. A 2021 study predicted that a 2 degrees Celsius increase in global temperatures could result in 90% male hatchlings in some regions. No females, no babies, simple math, big problem. Plus, sea level rise is flooding coastal wetlands with saltwater, which alligators can tolerate but their prey often can't. No prey, no gators. Human-wildlife conflict is also spiking. As alligators wander into suburbs, relocation isn't always a fix. Relocated alligators often return to their original territory, like a scaly homing pigeon. In 2022, Florida reported 17 alligator attacks on humans, mostly non-fatal but still terrifying. These incidents fuel fear, leading to calls for culling. It's a vicious cycle. We destroy their homes, they invade ours, and then we blame them. And let's not forget invasive species. In Florida, Burmese pythons, escaped or released pets, are eating alligator eggs and even young gators. A 2020 study estimated that pythons have reduced some Everglades wildlife populations by 90%. Alligators are fighting back. There's even footage of gators chomping pythons, but it's a tough battle. Finally, poaching still happens. Despite protections, illegal hunting for hides and meat persists, especially in remote areas. In 2024, Louisiana authorities busted a poaching ring that killed over 100 alligators. It's a grim reminder that greed still threatens this iconic species. So what does the alligator's story tell us about ourselves? This creature, which survived asteroids and ice ages, is now at our mercy. That's a heavy thought. Our drive for progress, building cities, farming, even chasing fashion, has pushed alligators into a corner. But it's not just about them. The alligator struggles are a mirror reflecting how we treat the natural world. When we drain wetlands, we're not just taking alligator homes, we're robbing entire ecosystems of their lifelines. When we pollute rivers, we're poisoning not just alligators, but our own water sources. And when we ignore climate change, we're gambling with the future of species that have thrived for millions of years. It's like we're playing Jenga with nature, pulling out pieces and hoping it doesn't collapse. But here's the flip side. The alligator's comeback from near extinction shows we can make a difference. Conservation worked because people cared. Scientists, lawmakers, even everyday folks who stopped buying alligator leather. It proves we have the power to fix what we've broken, but only if we act. The question is, will we? Or will we keep prioritizing short-term gains over long-term survival? The alligator's story isn't just about a scaly predator, it's about our responsibility to share this planet. If we can save a creature as tough as an alligator, maybe there's hope for the rest of the wild world, and for us. Alright folks, we've journeyed through the alligator's epic saga, from ruling prehistoric swamps to dodging poachers and pythons. These incredible creatures are more than just toothy monsters. They're survivors, ecosystem heroes, and a wake-up call for us all. So what can we do to help? First, support wetland conservation. Organizations like the Everglades Foundation and the National Wildlife Federation are working to protect alligator habitats. Donate, volunteer, or spread the word. Second, think before you feed. Never toss food to wild alligators. It's not cute, it's dangerous for them and us. Third, push for sustainable practices. Support policies that tackle climate change and pollution, because what's good for alligators is good for the planet. And here's a big one. Reflect on your own impact. Do you buy products that harm wildlife habitats? Could you reduce waste or support eco-friendly brands? Small changes add up. Together we can make sure alligators keep ruling the swamps for another 200 million years. Now I've got a question for you. What's one thing you think we can do to protect alligators and their habitats? Drop your thoughts in the comment box below. I'm dying to hear your ideas. And if you loved this deep dive into the alligator's world, give this video a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button, and ring the bell so you don't miss our next adventure. We're exploring the wildest corners of the animal kingdom, and we want you along for the ride. Until next time, stay curious, stay wild, and let's keep fighting for our planet's incredible creatures. See you in the swamp!